Hello, welcome to the Daily Bible Podcast. My name is William Hemsworth. Thank you so much for joining me for today's show. Well, today we continue on in Matthew chapter 13, and we're right in the middle of the parable of the sower. And Jesus is describing what the parable means, and he describes 4 different types of soil. Now, a couple days ago we talked about the seed that falls on rocky soil, and of course Sunday there's no show. And today we move on to the second type of soil, which is that thorns, basically. So let's get to it. Matthew chapter 13 and verse 22. So just one verse today. Matthew chapter 13 verse 22 says, "As for what was sown among thorns, this is he who hears the word, but the cares of the world and the delight in riches choke the word, and it proves unfruitful." Interesting story about this verse. When I was in high school, I was in a group called Campus Life. And for those that don't know what Campus Life, it's a high school club, and they meet during lunch hour once a week, have a Bible study, a local pastor comes by, gives a quick message, etc. Now, we had our own little subgroup that met later on in the week, and one day the leader came up to me, and he's like, Will, they called me Will in high school. He said, Will, his name was Robert, by the way. So he says, Will, I see the passion for Jesus in you. I see that passion. But the cares of the world seem to be getting in the way. And this kind of hit me like a brick to the head, and it's always stuck with me. And that's kind of what Jesus is talking about here. Whenever we get caught up in the cares of the world, especially Jesus is talking about, the care for riches, we get bogged down, and that becomes our priority, not Jesus. Not the things that really matter. Jesus isn't saying that, we shouldn't try to make good, decent livings and everything else. That's not what he's saying at all. But when the love of riches becomes our top priority, we're kind of selling our soul in a sense, because we're kind of telling Jesus that he doesn't matter. So making a living, all good, that's fantastic. We should definitely try to do it, but it shouldn't be our only care in the world. It shouldn't be our only care in the world. So let me ask you a question. If we had everything we want but forfeited eternal life with God, would those things be so desirable? As eternity is forever. Our lifetimes here are just a flash in the pan, a speck of dust, when put in context of eternity. Let's choose wisely. So, are you kind of like that seed among thorns? Do you believe what Jesus says, but that desire for worldly things gets in the way? It's never too late to turn that around. Ask Jesus for help. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Daily Bible Podcast. We'll catch you tomorrow. Have a great day. Thank you for listening. God bless you.